Today, we're creating a pop song from scratch in Cubase, and the finished results sound like this.
I'll make it high, oh la la la, I'm so for real, ain't no more rise. I keep it high, oh la la la, I'm so for real, I know ain't no more rise.
My name is Reid, realest puppet in the game, and today I'm going to be joined by KARRA to produce, record, mix, and master a pop song from start to finish using both the new and old features in Cubase 15. We're literally starting from a blank project, writing chords, bass, synths, drums, and vocals all together in one session. There's so many useful Steinberg features to explore, and Cubase easily has the most features out of any DAW I've used so far. There's a good chance no matter what DAW you use, Cubase has all those features and more. And that's why they offer their competitive cross-grade deal that gets you up to 40% off your Cubase purchase when you show your license for any other DAW. Now that's a crazy good deal, but more on that later. So let's open up Cubase 15 and get started. When you first open the new Cubase Pro 15, you're greeted with a brand new launch menu called the Cubase Pro Hub. This is where you can create a project from a template based on the genre, create an empty project, select your audio interface, or anything that you may need to do before you get started. But for our purposes, let's create empty. The first thing they prompt you to do is to create a folder for your project. So I'm going to call this Cubase Pro Beat. Let's press open and create our first track. I want my first track to be an instrument track because we're going to play some chords to get started. Let's call this horns. You can even double click and give it a nice icon. One of the most powerful virtual instruments included with Cubase Pro 15 is called Austrian Sonic 7. Now this has everything from real orchestral sounds, synth emulations, real synthesizers, and pretty much the entire spectrum of things that you can play on your keys. If you're not sure which pack is right for you, you could just go to all and start searching for things. Let's type in horns or brass. Double click or hit the up down arrow, press enter. Hey. Now another really cool thing about Austrian Sonic 7 is the ability to play different expressions to make your horns more realistic. We have the staccato expression open, but with our keyboard, we could switch to marcato, legato, or sustain. I'm thinking staccato for this vibe. Let's see, what kind of tempo am I thinking for this speed? I'm going like, I'm thinking 110. So let's just enter that here and turn on our metronome. Actually, let's change this metronome sound here in the settings. Let's go to click sounds. Let's just go to vintage spike. That's much better. To help minimize the latency on our keyboards, I'm going to go here to my buffer size and reduce it all the way down. Running Cubase at 32 samples is no problem, and it's super tight. Hey. And these horns sound super realistic. Let's full screen Cubase and get in the zone. So you know you want to start with chords, but let's say maybe you're not so good at playing the keys. Cubase has a really useful tool for that. Just open up your bottom tab and go along the bottom and click chord pads. Chord pads are a way for you to trigger an entire chord with one note. And this little blue highlighted area of your keyboard shows you the range. That's a fire progression right there. Or you can just play with your mouse too. And not only can you play the chords, but you can also customize the chords. If you like presets, there's a huge menu of chord progression presets, and you're guaranteed to find something that you like in here. So let's check out A Smile. And now you're basically Beethoven. Go to the next one. These minor chords are smooth. Fire. And if we smack the velocity a little too hard, you could just use this little pencil tool, drag it down. I like to use Command A, Q to quantize. And let's draw a little loop region, which they call a cycle. And you could toggle your cycle by pressing the backslash button on your number keypad. So one of the ways Cubase is really useful for working with orchestral instruments is getting rid of that little bit of latency that you always get when you're playing MIDI strings or MIDI horns. Even though the MIDI is completely quantized, you can hear it slightly behind the metronome. So let's fix that by going up to Expression Map, creating a new expression map. And we're going to go to the staccato expression because that's the one that we're using. And we can go to the attack compensation and start to dial in a number of milliseconds that it will nudge the attacks early without affecting the ends of the notes. Usually something around 50 milliseconds works. Hey, we've got some fire horns. When I'm cooking up beats, I like to get away from the metronome as soon as possible. Just hearing the click is not that inspiring, so let's put a drum groove in to play along with. I'm going to create a drum track. Instead of a MIDI part, we're going to do this as a pattern event. Let's add track. And as you can see, we've got a full drum pad. Now, the easiest way to get to your kits is to go to Loops and Samples and pick one of the drum kits out of the Steinberg factory library. I'm making kind of a dance track, so I'm going to check out the pack. Shout out to Laid Back Luke for the Laid Back House pack, but I'm going to go to Laser Beams first and see what I can find. Or we can go through entire drum kits instead of sifting through one-shots one at a time. Hey. Oh, this one's pretty juicy. We can go back and edit our kit further, but let's jump into our pattern editor. Simply double click that channel to create an empty pattern, and let's start clicking in some notes. Let's do quarter note kick drums. Let's do some claps on 2 and 4. Do some open hats. Hey. You know, instead of the number of steps being 16, let's do 32. If you need to delete a note, you just click on it again and it disappears. And let's get a little percussion going in here. We'll just turn down the velocity on those snares. So it's just a little more of like a subtle snare. Let's go to our hi-hats and we'll do a little more velocity variation on these as well. And we'll rename the channel Drums, give it a nice little icon for drums. And we're jamming. Back to the instruments. Let's go to some sort of bass instrument. Now for this, I actually know what the notes are going to be because it was kind of determined by the chord generator. We're just going to take the chords away. And what we're left with is the bass notes. So let's click bass in our categories. Let's check out one of the synthesizers called Flux. We have it narrowed down by just bass presets. And I might also hit this with like a pumping volume shaping effect. So I'm going to go into just Steinberg plugins, tools, volume. And now I'm going to open up the new Steinberg modulators and we're going to create a shaper. Boom. And now what we're going to do is attach this shaper to a volume knob. And we're going to make it pump kind of like a shaper box would. So let's drag this and attach this to slot 1 of the shaper. And then we even have a preset for sidechain and we set it to quarter note. And now for how much throw do you want this to have? You can adjust this slider right here. And we could pull this down by moving this knob down. Bring our curve up sooner. And you've got a pump and side chaining bass. But we'll dive deeper into that stuff later when we mix. I just wanted to get the bass pumping so it really felt right with the drums. Another creative way you can get inspired inside of Cubase is using their loops and samples. There's a lot of percussions and sounds that you could get just by going through any of these packs right here. There's really cool stuff in a lot of them. Let's check out Laid Back House. Let's go to the drum loops. Hey. These laid back house sounds are sweet. I want to go search for something. Let's try just typing in bongo. Let's say we like this loop. Now, this loop is 88 beats per minute and my song's 110. And Cubase has a really useful button to link our sample browsing to the project tempo. Now everything is 110 beats per minute. Let's drag this in, and to loop it, you just grab this little control point on the right side and drag it for as long as you want. Now let's maybe counter these horns with a less loud instrument like a guitar. I'm gonna duplicate this track because it's already got the chords that I want. And let's click this little piano button to open the plugin. And let's type in guitar. That's pretty wide. Hey! I like this one with the string in the background, but let's see if we got any more like plucky ones. Now that's a fire guitar. So I can actually see the song starting with this and then dropping into the drums and the horns and the bass. So let's just make a little bit of an arrangement now. We're already cooking and arranging at the same time. That's how I like to work. Maybe our bongos will start here. Into the drop. And then I could see it just being like drums and bass for a little bit. Now maybe for the verse section, I want the bass to kind of de-intensify a little bit. So let's duplicate this bass and have a new bass start here. Now this is going to be our disrespectful 808. And for do that, we're just going to add a sampler track, call it 808. And to do that, I'm just going to add a favorites folder. So I keep all my whole loops drum samples here on my sounds hard drive. We got samples, whole loops, boom. So now I got quick access to all my whole loop samples. And then for this, I'm just going to search through just the 808s. Jesus. Now that's disrespectful. That one's pretty chill. Let's drop this one here. Let's go down an octave. So I'm happy with the way this 808 sounds. The only thing is I just want to make sure that we're not overlapping our notes, because you don't want 808 notes to play a chord or even overlap at all. So I'm going to press this little M button right here for monophonic sampling. Much cleaner. Even have our guitar and come over here. Hey. You know what, maybe instead of looking for a loop, let's just record our own. I'm gonna create an audio track, hook it up to my mic, configuration mono, input 1 is perfect. So now that we've got our track set up to record, we can monitor through here and record. And you know what, let's double that up. Pan this one left, pan this one right. We'll just turn them both down a little bit too. Now let's say we wanted to get these even tighter. We could go up to our quantize menu, which for our audio is the little letter E, and let's drag and drop our correct audio right here. And let's highlight our incorrect audio, select Audio Warp Quantize, click Apply Quantize. Do the same down here, click Apply Quantize. And we just quantized our claps to our bongo performance, and it actually rhythmically altered it a little bit, not just shifted it, but altered it to really match. I like that. Now, I like that the guitar has a little delay on it, but I think I want to give it some reverb that we can automate. So let's go ahead and add a reverb. Let's start with Roomworks. Increase the length. Let's check out what other kind of sounds we have in the sound packs. Ooh, this thing is filthy. Let's find some crash cymbals to fit these downbeats a little harder. I like how it mixes your personal sample packs in with the stock sample packs, so you can browse your whole loops with your Steinberg samples. Let's get back into some more instruments, and I'm going to do some lower brass. It's going to be like lower supporting tubas or something. There we go, we need something big like that. Ooh, that sounds thick. Halion Sonic 7's got some sweet sounds. This definitely needs some reverb, so let's insert. Let's do another Roomworks. Maybe distort this too while we go. Let's Steinberg. Distortion. Let's go for the Destroyer. We'll turn it down a little bit. So we've added a bunch of orchestral and acoustic sounding instruments. Let's go see if we can find some synthesizers to add into this beat. Let's go into our plugin and let's go back to all. And let's check out Writing Room Synths. Cubase 15 has this brand new instrument called Writing Room Synths, with its jam-packed full of insanely clean instruments that are pretty much already finished for you. But of course, you can customize them exactly to your need with macros. Let's also layer this with a piano too. Let's go back to the home page and let's search for piano. Kind of looking for that salsa piano vibe. We've layered in a lot of synths here. Let's go back and add some more drums. I'm going to go find a snap by adding a channel, drum channel. One of these kits ought to have a snap. Just turn the reverb down on this snap a little bit, turn the volume up. Hey. So we've got a pretty solid section of chord ideas, bass lines, drums, and percussion elements, even some sweepy noise to add some effects. Let's see if we can find some little ear candy synths or effects that we could play on our MIDI keyboard to sprinkle on top. Let's check out Retrolog. We haven't been through here yet. They have an entire analog-inspired synthesizer for all the sound design heads who really like to go in and tweak out on sounds from scratch. But for me, I'm a preset menu princess. bendy synths with the glide time is fire. And let's record some chords with this same synth. Hey. Let's see what other cool gems and synths we can find in here. Let's check out Pad Shop. Pad Shop's got all the ill smooth pad sound designs and textures. Woo! That's a sweet sound. Let's record some of that in. We've got synth effects, audio effects. You know what, maybe now would be a good time to save our beats. So I'm gonna call this Cubase 15 Pro Beat 1. Save it into our location with the rest of the assets, boom. And we've got a pretty solid arrangement for us to go in and record some vocal ideas and turn this beat into a finished song.
When it comes to recording vocals over a beat, Cubase has an extremely convenient shortcut to import vocal templates. If you're not familiar, a vocal template is like a preset on steroids. It recalls all the plugins, channels, settings, panning, and levels to mix an entire acapella in seconds. Plus, hearing your ideas already mixed is way more inspiring as an artist. You can get my vocal template for Cubase and every popular DAW at IamKarra.com. And the best part is these templates use 100% stock plugins that you already own. My favorite way to import vocal templates in Cubase 15 is by clicking File, Import, Tracks from Project. Then navigate to your KARRA vocal template download. Open the project file and select the individual tracks you want to import. Since we already have our beat in this session, I'm going to skip instrumental and import everything else, including the effects. Press OK, and you've got a full vocal template in the same session as your track. Every channel is pre-organized with names, icons, colors, buses, and more, plus a wide range of reverb and delay effects.
As you can see here in the mixer, KARRA's template has group processing, sends, and routing already prepared as an excellent starting point. The only other plugin we want to add before we record is Auto-Tune. Simply choose your key, scale, retune speed, and classic or modern algorithm for your favorite flavor. Auto-Tune is the only plugin that can't do group processing, so I copy it onto each track individually, holding the Option key. Next, let's close the mixer and connect our mic to the audio tracks by clicking here and selecting Mono Input 1 on my interface. Arm the recording button on your first vocal track, and enable monitoring if you want to hear your mic through the template as you sing.
Test 1, 2.
Like this.
It sounds amazing, but there's a lot of latency.
That's no problem in Cubase, because they have a useful feature called delay compensation. You can find the button up here in the top left corner, and you've got a perfect headphone mix to record your vocals into Cubase.
How about now?
Ooh, yeah. Perfect.
And of course, you can customize the template effects here in your inserts, and reveal your effect sends by right-clicking, choosing Setup Sections, and making sure Sends is enabled. As you can see, Cubase is completely customizable. Revealing your sends gives you useful sliders to control the level of each wet effect in the template.
I'll make it hot. Ooh la la la.
Maybe while we track, we'll do more reverb and less delay. Later when we mix, we'll revisit these controls. But now we're ready to record. So let's press the asterisk key on our number pad and track some lead vocals.
Ooh yeah. Ooh yeah. And no mirage. I'll make it hot. Ooh la la la. I'm so for real. And no mirage. I keep it high. Ooh la la la. I'm so for real. And no You are not crazy. I'm not no daydream. On natural, baby, do this on the daily. The heat is rising and it's hypnotizing. This ain't only in your mind, your mind.
For today's vocal chain, we're using the new Austrian Audio OC-S10 into the Vintech X73 preamp, Universal Audio LA2A compressor, going into our audio interface, and Cubase. And all the voiceovers in today's video were also recorded through the Austrian Audio OC-S10. But back to the session.
try without the phone, but I might need the phone.
Find your mind. One-on-one, want you tonight to go dancing the night away. Eh, eh. Hold on, better hold me tight, cause we're in for a wild ride. Eh, eh. Too much for your appetite, but then you need to find a day. Eh, eh. You need to find a day. Eh, eh.
And we're already killing it with the vocals. I recorded all my leads 3 times so we can combine the best parts of each take. Let's switch our mouse to the comping tool and start editing our vocals. The solo button on each take lane controls which take you hear. And selecting the audio with the comp tool sends it up to the top layer. Simply click and drag across any section of audio to slice it like this. And it jumps straight to the main comp at the top without any extra clicks. Cubase also offers really handy clip gain controls by clicking the triangular icon on each audio clip. Let's boost all my vocals 2 dB to hear them better over the loud beat. Then I spend the next few minutes using the comp tool to piece together a perfect lead vocal. All right, so I liked this. After you're finished, you can click the Take Lanes button to hide your outtakes and consolidate your comp. Highlight all your audio clips, click the Audio menu, Advanced, Delete Overlaps. And you've got a clean lead vocal comp to record doubles and harmonies. Okay.
Is Reid in the middle of all this right now?
I like to stack my vocal with low harmonies,
Ooh la la la.
high harmonies,
I keep it high. Ooh la la la. I'm so for real.
and pan everything left and right for a wide effect. With all these layers, you can see how a great vocal template is crucial for a smooth workflow. Because right now, I'm in my zone.
Hold on, better hold me tight. Too much for your appetite. Well, then you need to find a day. Eh, eh. You need to find a day. Eh, eh. Eh, eh. I'll make it hard. La 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 la. Ain't no la 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 la. I'll make it high. Ooh la la la. I'm so for real. Ain't no mirage. I keep it high.
Plus, I even got to hop on the mic for some group vocal layers. Needless to say, I was in my zone too.
High.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
High.
Hey.
I'll make it high. Ooh la la la. I'm so for real. Ain't no
Then KARRA recorded some fire ad-libs to tie everything together. You ready for ad-libs?
Yes, I am.
Let's do it. Now that all of our vocals, stacks, and harmonies are recorded, let's revisit the effects in our template to mix this vocal specifically for the song.
Mookie's doing ad-libs too.
Then we're gonna go in and add some finishing production elements and tie it all together with a master chain. Before we open up our plugins, I always like to make sure that my audio is as clean as possible on the timeline itself. So let's zoom in and apply some crossfades to a stack. I like to switch to my range selection tool by right-clicking, holding Command and highlighting a custom range, and pressing A. A is the shortcut to apply crossfade to the edge. X is the shortcut to apply crossfade between two clips like this. And I already went through and took the breaths and just turned them down a little bit sometimes, but for the most part, we're just making sure things are as smooth as possible. A little crossfade on the way in works perfect, and I like a long crossfade on the way out. Cubase even has a shortcut where you can highlight in the center of the clip and press A, and it automatically applies crossfades to both edges. So let's move on to the actual plugins in our vocal chain. Here in the mixer reveals all the plugins in the KARRA vocal template, and we're gonna go through the effects on the lead vocal to see if we can customize it a little bit better for this song. And we'll start with the compressor. Let's solo the lead some for a second. As you can see, we're just doing a really light amount of attenuation. We just want to see the compressor kicking during the really loud notes. We don't want it constantly slammed. And since we tracked it through a little bit of compression on the way in, a 2-to-1 ratio is perfect for this. Next, we have a tube emulation plugin. This knob is basically like the preamp knob for when you're recording a mic directly in without an actual analog preamp. Because when you push this up, it really emulates the grit that you get when you push an analog preamp. Ooh, it just gets so thick and delicious. Let's listen to it when the chorus kicks in. Really pleasant distortion. But I'm gonna keep it at a low amount, like between 5 and 10. And then next we have our EQ. This is just doing a basic low cut, but we can customize this to really dial in the tone. Let's go for a higher frequency and a higher Q. Gives you a little more bass recovery around the filter point. Later in the EQ, we're going to do some boosting, but for this, we're just doing some general cleanup. Let's check out the next plugin, and that's multiband compression. This is really focused in the mid-range. As you can see, the compression is attenuating in the lower mids and the upper mids, and that's exactly what you want because vocals can become really harsh in the mid-range. So if you want more control in the mid-range, pull down the threshold. If you want less compression in the mid-range, push up the threshold.
This ain't only in your mind, your mind.
And if you're doing less compression, then also you could also do less ratio too.
Too much for your appetite, well then you need to find a taste. You need to find a taste. I'll make it high.
Regular compression compression is the entire dynamic range, and this is focusing on the dynamic range band by band, in particular the lower and upper mids. So next we have an EQ where we're actually going to be doing some boosting in. And this has a really interesting musical approach on EQing where you can target specific notes on the piano in addition to frequencies on the spectrum. And let's try brightening up. Let's see, our song is in A. Let's go down here by A.
I'll make it high. Oh, la, la, la. I'm so for real.
And that leaves us around 6, maybe 6.5.
I keep it high. Oh, la, la, la. I'm so for real.
It's got a little tiny boost, like 1 or 2 dB.
Not crazy. I'm not.
And of course, you can hit it with a high shelf as well.
Unnatural, baby. Do this on the daily.
To switch this to shelf.
And it's hypnotizing. This ain't only in your
A little bit of a boost like that. Let's turn all the inserts off.
You need to find it, you need to find it, I'll make it high. Oh la la la. I'm so for
That's a huge
real.
difference.
Ain't no more right.
Now let's go back to dry.
I keep it high. Oh la la la.
Let's turn the sends off too.
I'm so for real. I know my, ain't no more right.
Hey. Then of course to finish it off we got a de-esser. Just to take down any sibilance in the S's and T's of the vocal. Which is basically like another form of multiband compression, but just focused at the top. And then we have a plugin called Magneto. If you feel like your vocal is feeling sterile, thin, or just too dry, this is another great saturation plugin that lets you EQ with distortion. So for this, I've chosen around 140 Hertz and around 1K to boost some distortion. And you got saturation right here and an output makeup.
I'll make it high. Oh la la la. I'm so for real. Ain't no more right. I keep it high. Oh la la la.
It's subtle, but when you put all these plugins together, it makes a huge difference.
No more, ain't no more right.
And finally, we're ending off with some tube compression. This is doing some parallel compression with really aggressive settings, but reduced to 50% on the mix knob.
Ain't no more
So that's all of our dry chains. Moving on to the effects ends. We're using one of the most classic reverb plugins in Cubase, which I personally think is one of my favorites, and that's called Roomworks. This is more of like a realistic sounding reverb, and if you want something that's more digital, I'd recommend their other stock reverb called Reverence. But for this, I already know the natural reverb vibe is going to be perfect. I have it dialed in to be between 3 and 4 seconds, and the reverb channel itself is reduced to -10. So in addition to reducing it on the send, we're also reducing it on, I guess you could call the return track. Another really funky effect that you could do to make your doubles feel extra wide, in addition to panning them hard left and hard right, is do a little bit of formant or pitch shifting on one side. We can go to one of the brand new plugins that just released with the new Steinberg Cubase 15, and that's under Pitch Shift, and it's called Pitch Shifter.
He is rising, hypnotizing.
Ooh, you can make your voice sound deeper or smaller without actually changing the note.
He is rising, hypnotizing.
Ooh, that's a fire knob to automate as well.
He is rising, hypnotizing.
So when you have it panned all the way to one side, and then you listen to it in combination with the other side,
hold on, better hold me tight.
you have an extra wide effect because one side is formant shifted
Too much for your appetite.
and the other side is natural. We can just do a little bit up or down. And of course you got drive and you got full pitch shifting too. If you want to do maybe 1 octave, that was 2 octaves, probably too far. Let's do 1 octave.
Ooh la la la.
And of course you could always dial in a blend of the natural voice and the pitch shifted voice too.
Ooh la la la.
Now that's fire.
It's rising and it's hypnotizing. This ain't only in your mind.
And it's real subtle, but it makes the mix just feel a little bit grittier and bigger.
You tonight to go dancing the night away. Hold on, better hold me tight, 'cause we're in for a wild ride.
And by the way, if you don't actually have the third-party auto-tune plugin, Steinberg also has a stock plugin called Pitch Correction, which does a very similar thing. Choose your key, choose your speed, and it displays all the notes in your scale and the notes that you're hearing.
You're my one-on-one, want you tonight. Hold on, better hold me tight.
And if you turn the speed all the way up, that gives you the most electronic sound.
For your appetite.
And a low speed gives you a more natural sound. So that's a great alternative if you don't have the third-party auto-tune plugin. Cubase just has a perfectly well-rounded collection of vocal production tools and mixing tools, all stock with the DAW. And I really like that. Here at the bottom of our acapella, we have our ad-libs, and these are little ear candy vocals sprinkled on top. And we have a slightly different chain here on the ad-libs sum. First, we're going into Detube to create a little bit more distortion than we did on the lead vocals. After all, the ad-libs are a little bit more of a party, so it's okay to have them mixed a little bit more aggressively with distortion. Next, we're going into Vox Comp, and this is a compressor plugin that is made specifically for vocals, without having to worry about all the complexities of attack time, release time, knee, ratio, and all that stuff. You just get threshold, dry wet, and output gain, which I think is actually really perfect for mixing ad-libs. Hey. And then finally, we're going into a studio EQ to cut out all the bass and all the treble to give it that signature telephone effect. And to make them stand out even more from the lead vocals, we're mixing it with a lot of reverb and a lot of delay, whereas the other vocals didn't have so much delay. And also, there's two there's two ad-lib channels because one's panned slightly left and one's panned slightly right, and you can just place the clips on either channel to create somewhat of a back and forth effect as the song goes. So between the dry effects and the wet sends, this is my basic chain for mixing ad-libs in any style of music. So believe it or not, when I mix my vocals, I actually like to close the mixer and look at it here in the session view. All the controls that you have here laid out give you just about everything that you need. And when I'm mixing my vocal, I like to think of it in terms of groups. And you can even minimize your groups to hide or reveal the various sections of your acapella. And having everything preset as a template means we have an extra convenient place to solo our entire acapella all in one click with the all vocals bus. So now that our vocals are sounding great and our beat is all balanced and sounding great, let's tie everything together with a stock master chain. And let's add our first plugin, which is a brand new dynamics processor by Steinberg called Ultra Shaper. Since this is on our master, we're gonna dial in a really, really low ratio, like below 2:1. And we're also gonna reveal the advanced transient controls. I'll just boost those up a little bit too. Now what I really like about this plugin is it works as a clipper going into your limiter. So you can just enable clip right here and boom. Your peaks are already getting controlled. So let's start out by reducing the threshold. I just want to do a tiny little bit of compression with this. Pull up the ratio a little bit. Now let's go hard knee on the compression. Speed up the release. Let's blend the mix knob in now. That's 0%. And 100%. Let's rock 50. And we're hitting the clipper pretty aggressively, but kind of on purpose. You can pull it down if you want to do less, but I'm not going to be too shy about it. I like clipping a lot. Next, I want to add a limiter. The Steinberg stock limiter sounds perfect, especially when your signal is nice and controlled by a clipper going into it. We can just do a little bit of a boost with the gain.
I keep it high.
Hey.
Oh la la la, I'm so for real. I know my,
Let's go without our master chain. If you want to do some tone shaping on your master, the good old-fashioned EQ P1A is an excellent choice. Let's actually throw this at the beginning of our chain before the compressor. And let's use this to add a little bit of boost in the brightness around 10K. Maybe just a tiny little boost on like the deepest frequency. So for the lows, let's go down around 50. Go up 1. Ooh, that sounds nice. Go up 2 on the high end.
Hold on, better hold me tight, 'cause we're in for a wild ride. Too much for your appetite, well then
You can even open up our master output meter here on the sidebar. I really love using this when I'm working on my final master.
ooh la la la, I'm so for real, ain't no mirage. I keep it high, ooh la la la, I'm so for real, I know my, ain't no mirage.
So now that we got our initial inspiration locked in with chord pads, layered acoustic and electronic virtual instruments that come stock with Cubase, added a pumping bass line with modulation, 808s and drums, plus a full vocal production, mixing and mastering, let's rewind to the very beginning and take a listen to our finished track titled Mirage.
Ain't no mirage. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Ain't no mirage. I make it high. Ooh la la la. I'm so for real. Ain't no mirage. I keep it high. Ooh la la la. I'm so for real. I know my, ain't no mirage. Not crazy, I'm not no daydream. All natural, baby, do this on the daily. The heat is rising and it's hypnotizing. This ain't only in your mind, your mind. Want you tonight to go dancing the night away. Hold on, better hold me tight, 'cause we're in for a wild ride. Too much for your appetite, well then you need to find a taste. You need to find a taste. I'll make it high. Ooh la la la, I'm so for real. Ain't no mirage. I keep it high. Ooh la la la, I'm so for real. I know my, ain't no mirage. Ain't no
So as you can see, with some good sound design, good sound selection, some careful arrangement, songwriting, recording, a great vocal template, and some basic mixing and mastering fundamentals, you can piece together a song demo really fast in Cubase from scratch. We're really just scratching the surface of everything that Cubase has to offer, because they have so many new and inspiring features like the pattern sequencer, expression maps, AI-powered stem separation, easy automation, and so many fresh new sounds to get you started. And again, if you're switching from another DAW, Cubase gives you an extremely competitive 40% cross-grade discount to get started today. So there you have a full pop song from scratch using the new Cubase Pro 15. Thank you so much to KARRA for dropping a fire vocal on top and helping us test all the vocal features and plugins in this exciting update. If you want to get your hand on KARRA's vocal template, I'll include links to get the Cubase template and all the other popular DAWs at IamKarra.com in the description below, as well as links to demo or check out Cubase Pro 15. And there's always so much to learn, so I'll see you next time in another video.